They always say your wedding morning is magical. Mine started with a torn envelope and a lie that cracked my entire world open. I stood barefoot in the bridal suite, red silk clinging to my skin, holding the letter I wasn't supposed to find. His handwriting stared back at me, smug and careless. It wasn't meant for me. Not really. It was his letter to her. The you-very her. And every word confirmed what my gut had screamed for months. The dress behind me shimmered in silence, waiting for a bride that didn't exist anymore. My hands didn't shake. My voice didn't crack. I wasn't broken. I was done. And he was about to be too. I could have cried, thrown the letter, called it off quietly, slipped away with a shattered heart. But instead, I picked up my phone. My makeup was half done, one lash glued, the other waiting. I opened notes and started typing. Every word was a dagger, aimed with precision. No theatrics, no pleas. Just truth. Raw, simple, and venom-laced. I added screenshots, timestamps, and her name. Not to humiliate her, to expose him. Then I hit post, just like that. My voice viral. My pain public. The pings started instantly. Likes, shares, texts from friends who suddenly knew. I didn't flinch. I kept typing. By the time my maid of honor came in, the post had hit 20,000 shares. She froze when she saw my face, not crying, not panic, just calm. I turned the screen toward her. Her jaw dropped. Behind us, the speakers played soft classical music. White roses lined the windows. It should have been a dream. Instead, it was a countdown. My mother called. His mother call? He didn't. Not yet. I watched the comments roll in. Strangers cheering, some stunned, others begging for more. Truth is, I wasn't waiting for their approval. I just wanted the silence between his lies to finally be loud enough for everyone else to hear. I changed into the dress. Not for him, not for photos. For me. The silk clung like armor. My lipstick, once pristine, smeared slightly when I smiled too wide. The phone buzzed on the tile again. Missed calls. Dozens. I let it ring. I wanted him to feel the distance, the static of me slipping out of his story. My reflection in the mirror wasn't a bride. It was a woman writing her own vows, not promises, but boundaries. I didn't need to run. I needed to arrive. At the altar. At the moment. At the line he never thought I'd cross. I walked down the hallway alone. No bouquet. No music. Just silence, heels clicking like war drums. Guests peeked from their rooms, whispers blooming like weeds. I didn't lower my eyes. I wanted them to see me, not as a victim, but as a reckoning. One groomsman dared to speak. I passed him without a word. My veil floated behind me, ghost-like, and suddenly the wedding wasn't about love. It was about truth showing up in stilettos and silk. Every step I took reminded me, this wasn't collapse. It was confrontation. I was the bride. And I was also the storm. The doors opened. Conversations stopped mid-sentence. I stood in the light, red lips, white gown, heart unapologetically raw. The viral post had already made it to half the room. I saw it in their eyes. Recognition, discomfort, awe. He wasn't at the altar. Not yet. But they were. The audience. The witnesses. The ones who'd posted #play goals for months without knowing the rot beneath the gloss. I walked down the aisle slowly, deliberately, not toward him, but toward the microphone. My vows weren't going to be promises. They were going to be fire. And he was about to walk into it. The room held its breath as I took the mic. No music. No procession. Just my voice. Steady and sharp. I looked around. Friends, family, influencers, strangers. His world. Our world. I started with a thank you. Then I told the truth. I read his text aloud. Described the hotel receipts. The late night calls to a woman who wasn't me. No screaming, no tears. Just evidence. I watched their faces shift. Gasps. Disbelief. A few people getting up. I didn't care. I didn't speak for their approval. I spoke because silence protects liars. And I was done protecting anyone but myself. He showed up halfway through my monologue. Late, breathless, still buttoning his cufflinks like a child caught in a lie. The guests turned as he entered. I didn't stop. I didn't flinch. I locked eyes with him and said the name. Hers. The room twisted. I could see it. The realization washing over him in waves. Not just exposure. Betrayal. Inverted. I had turned his secret into spectacle. His power into shame. And for once he didn't have a script. He opened his mouth. I raised my hand. No, I said. You had your turn. This is mine. I didn't wait for applause. I didn't wait for chaos. I dropped the mic like a gavel and walked straight down the aisle, away from the altar, away from him, away from everything we'd faked. My bouquet hit the floor behind me, petals scattering like confetti at a funeral. I heard whispers, the hum of phones capturing every step. Good, whiny. Let them record this. Let them post it. Let the world see a woman choose herself in real time. I wasn't running. I wasn't broken. I was rewritten. The wedding was over. The reckoning had just begun. I leaned against the cold wall, heart thudding but steady. My phone buzzed like a hive in my hand. Messages from strangers. Applause. DMs from women saying, "Thank you." Some shared their own stories. Some just sent fire emojis. My hands were still. My lipstick, still perfect. I wasn't shaking. I wasn't hiding. For the first time in months, I wasn't afraid of being alone. I was choosing it. This wasn't tragedy, it was transformation. And the viral letter? That wasn't revenge. It was release. A live-streamed revolution wrapped in silk and truth. Across the building, he sat slouched on the edge of a bed that wasn't his, headlines flashing on the TV, his name trending for all the wrong reasons. Every outlet had a version. Betrayed bride turns wedding into viral expose. His face in freeze frame, mouth open, eyes wild. He scrolled through the damage, through comment after comment. No defense. No escape. For once the spotlight burned. His kingdom of lies had collapsed under a woman in heels with a microphone. And now, all he could do was watch her walk away, adored by the world that once adored him. I stepped onto the balcony barefoot, my gown wrinkled, makeup kissed by sweat and victory. The city blinked beneath me, lights flickering like applause. I raised a glass of champagne, not to a marriage, but to a moment. To every woman who ever swallowed truth to keep the peace. To every silent scream turned into a status update. I toasted to the fire, the fallout, the freedom. I wasn't a runaway bride. I was a woman who stayed exactly where the world could see her, and then lit the whole script on fire. The sunset didn't care, and neither did I. The dress was red this time. Bold. Unapologetic. I lay across the hotel bed, legs crossed, laptop glowing beside me. News outlets were already circling. Interviews, exclusives, features. I didn't care about fame. I cared that the truth had teeth. I cared that girls who'd swallowed silence now had a reason to spit it out. My inbox buzzed again. "Can you share your story?" I smiled. They'd already read it. The letter had spoken loud enough. I took another sip of wine, leaned back, and pressed archive. I wasn't anyone's headline. I was the author. And the story was just beginning. I didn't pawn the ring. I didn't frame it. I walked to the city fountain and tossed it in like a coin, not for luck but for closure. It hit the water with a soft splash, disappearing into shimmer. No crowd, no speech. Just me, the sun, and a moment. I wiped my fingers clean. I didn't need the weight anymore. Love should never feel like an anchor. It should never cost your voice. The ring was gone, and with it, the last symbol of a life I no longer wanted. The water swallowed it. I didn't look back. I passed the boutique on my way to brunch. The window glowed with lace and illusion. Mannequins frozen in white. Lies. I paused. Just for a second. The kind of pause you take when you see a ghost you've already made peace with. I smirked. Not bitter. Just amused. The girl who once dreamed through that glass had evolved. Traded obedience for clarity. Silence for spotlight. I kept walking. Not out of spite. Out of strength. The future wasn't in the window. It was in the stride, the red dress, and the silence that followed me. Clean, earned, and completely mine. I ended the day on a rooftop, skyline glittering like a crown at my feet. The city buzzed below, unaware, unconcerned, alive. I lifted my glass to no one and everyone. Not to love, not to loss, to liberation. My red manicure curled around the stem like punctuation. People stared, whispered. Maybe they recognized me. Maybe they didn't. It didn't matter. I hadn't written the letter for applause. I'd written it because silence had started to feel like rot. And now I was here. Not married. Not mourning. Just made new. The air tasted like rain and revenge. It was perfect. That night, I opened the post again. Not out of regret, but satisfaction. The comments were still pouring in. Support, outrage, memes. One had gone viral itself. She said what we all wish we could. I smiled, then scrolled to the top and pinned my own comment. Just 3 words. I'm not sorry, that was the truth. No caveats. No walkbacks. I hadn't ruined the day. I'd revealed it. I hadn't burned it down. I'd let it finally catch fire. And when the world watched it burn, I stood in the ashes, heels planted, eyes open, lips red. Unapologetic. Midnight streets were empty, save for me. Red dress flowing, heels tapping like a slow drumbeat. I walked with no destination, no deadline. Just forward. The past didn't chase me. It wouldn't dare. My shadow stretched long behind me, quiet and earned. I didn't need a fairy tale. I didn't need a groom. I needed a truth loud enough to break things, and a voice strong enough to say it. I had both, and in that moment alone